Hey, what's going on, folks? Listen, I want to tell y'all about a recent conversation I had. I'm trying to talk to people more, just to see what their stories are, what they have experienced. Just talking to people, find out what I can find out, doing some networking, and also just striking up conversation. So I was talking to this person the other day, and I asked this person, "So what kind of work do you do?" Pretty common question. And they said four things right off the top to me were like big time title. This person said, I am a corporate federal attorney. What's the fourth one? That's three. Corporate federal litigation attorney, maybe. Yeah, I think that was what it was. Corporate federal litigation attorney. Because, yeah, pretty sure that's what it was. Anyway, the three is big enough, right? And I was like, wow, that is pretty incredible. And we got on to talking a little bit more, talking a little bit more. And I was like, so where'd you go to school at? She said, I think she said she went to App State or something like that. And yes, this person happened to be a young black female. She was probably in her, that's where it gets tricky. I'm going to say late 30s, 37, 38, something like that. And so when I hear something like that, me, I'm curious on people's backstory, right? So I was like, where'd you grow up at? She was like, oh, I grew up right here in Charlotte. I was like, for real? Oh, okay, cool. Where'd you go to high school at? Now, I'm not going to tell you the name of the high school, but she said it was definitely in the Charlotte area. It was a school that I'm just going to put it like this: inner city school, not really known for producing corporate attorneys, corporate federal attorneys, right? So I was like, and when she said the name of the school, it kind of just glazed over my mind, and I had to stop and think about the fact that most people who come from this school, most people who come from this background, don't end up as corporate attorneys. I was like, wow. I said, I got a feeling. I was like, man, you really overcame some challenges. Like, you came from this particular school. I was like, isn't that school kind of? She was like, yeah, 100%. Known for a lot of violence, a lot of everything that comes with a inner city school. So I was like, man, you really have accomplished some things in your life. And she's like, oh, by the way, I was also valedictorian of my school. I was like, okay, you're just one of those people. You haven't done the stuff that you do is going to be big stuff, right? You're going to do big things in your life. You are created to do big things. You're a corporate, federal, attorney, valedictorian, coming from an inner city school. And I said, oh, by the way, let me just throw this in as these details are coming back. I said, do you come from a family of, attorneys or people who did well in school? She's like, no, I was the only one in my family to go to college. Again, an outlier, somebody who does things differently and doesn't. So what am I getting to? What am I getting to? Is she the only person that's gone from very bad circumstances to do great things, either in a business sense or in a professional level? No, I'm sure there's more. But the fact that she did not let her over, this is my point in all this. She did not let her circumstances determine who she was going to be or what she was going to do in life. And there are many times to where we become products of the system. We become there's countless stories of the opposite because they came up in these negative backgrounds, because they came up in these situations that are so tough, they do what they see around them. They get involved in drugs and alcohol and violence. They jail in and out of the jail system. And It becomes a lifetime of that. Um, and I was just glad to be. At one point I was like, listen, I know you don't know me, I don't know you. I was like, I'm just proud of you. I'm just proud of the fact that you overcame. You made different decisions. Does that mean everything in your life was easy? No. I asked her, I said, did your family do a celebration? Like that you're the only one in your family went to college and graduated as a lawyer? Like y'all must have had a big time celebration. She's like, no, me and my family are really not that close. Again, heartbreaking, but she didn't let any of this stop her from doing what she needed to do. She's about to start her nonprofit. She's already mentoring other girls in school. Like all this to say, folks, listen, there's going to be some challenging circumstances in our lives. There's going to be some environments that we cannot always control. There are going to be some extenuating circumstances that can seemingly work against us, but we have, at the end of the day, we have decisions that we can make despite all these other things. Despite all these other things. And I like this quote by Tony Robbins that says, life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. Life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. Now, do we like everything that happens, or do we like the inconveniences, and do we like these negative circumstances? Do we like all of these bad things happening? No, we don't necessarily like it, but we can draw some good things from it if we stay positive. So anyway, just want to share that story with y'all. Maybe I'll share a few more stories going forward, and hopefully that'll be some encouragement to y'all. All right, talk to y'all later.